All right. So, welcome to another Run Wild with Us. Ask Us Anything. I'm Lisa Kastner. I'm the founder and executive editor of Running Wild and RIZE presses. And I am here with you every Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time, and typically here with a few of our other amazing editors. And we're here to answer any kind of questions that you may have. Your questions can be around publishing, creative writing, um, what what did we have for dinner yesterday? Whatever it is that you may have on your mind. If you are watching this and it is not those time frames that I had just referenced, then it's not a big deal. You can just put your questions into the comment section of our chat, and we always go back and we check. So, feel free, knock yourself out, ask whatever the frig you want, and we will definitely respond. So, with that, I want to say, hey Ben, how you
Oh,
doing,
hi,
young man?
Lisa.
What is new in your world?
Nothing new whatsoever.
No. Well, Ben and I have been trading emails all day today about various behind the scenes topics. Woo, so we can sound really important and fancy and like mysterious for those of you who aren't privy to those conversations. But anyway, so Ben is one of our amazing acquisition editors himself. Typically, it's Ben, Peter, who is another one of our amazing acquisition editors, and Cody, who is another one of our amazing acquisition editors, who has a chance to join us. And Rod Gilly actually says, "Hey guys, hey Rod, awesome to see
Right
you."
on.
And Margaret Buchanan says, "Hi guys, how's the Kickstarter going?" You know what, Margaret? Thank you so much for mentioning that. We actually, our Kickstarter, it's going pretty well. We have about a week left. It was just highlighted or featured in a crowdfunding email program. So it's a program that they go across different crowdfunding sources and look for topics that people might be interested in. And we were featured, which is amazing. So I'm really excited about that. Literally saw that, I don't know, like 2 hours ago. And for those of you who don't have any idea what the heck we're talking about, so a sad truth, or a truth at least, of publishing and actually any kind of media and entertainment is, in order for people to for most folks to know that your stories are out there, even if it's something that they may absolutely fall in love with, you've got to advertise it, right? You've got to get reviews, you need to have publicity, all that kind of stuff, and that costs money. So we started a Kickstarter campaign to help us in that effort. So if you are interested in seeing our stories getting out there to a broader audience, then definitely go ahead and, whatever you feel as though you can give, please give to the our campaign. Now, the why you should care, we made sure that our different tiers targeted anybody who might be a viewer, or maybe you're a reader, or you're an author. So you can, if you give a certain amount of money, we will have one of our editors, most likely me, will review your manuscript for you and give you detailed feedback. You could have a character named after you. I'm not going to promise that that character will live. I'm not going to promise that the character will make it through the entire story, but there will be a character named after you. Or if you've got a name you want us to use, we'll use that name. So, really, really cool stuff like that. If you're more of a reader, then we also have ones where we're going to have limited edition hardbacks of certain books, and you will get that hardback. Reason that's a big deal is we don't do that many hardbacks. Actually, a lot of presses nowadays don't really do that because the cost is so incredibly high. And they don't sell very well, in all honesty. Most books that sell and are in paperback form. So anyway, go check it out. Let me give you a link to it. It's a very cool Kickstarter. I'm actually just now also working through another Kickstarter we're going to be starting. I'm going to say in the next couple of weeks, and that Kickstarter is going to be all about a brand new program, or not program, a brand new anthology that we're going to do, or a limited edition anthology, where myself and Jonathan Mayberry, who's a New York Times bestseller, multi-award winning, and overall really awesome guy, will be the acquisition editors and the editors for it. And it's a cross genre of literary and magical realism. So look for that. I'll be talking about that a lot more in the coming weeks, so that you guys get a sense of it. And for that, since I've been blathering, I just want to stop for a second and say, "Hey, Peter, how you doing?"
I'm good. Happy Thursday. How are y'all doing?
Happy Thursday. Doing pretty well. Anything new and exciting going on in your world?
I have a bunch more books to edit, so things are really, really good.
That's
That's
true.
good because I've got the same ones to edit.
Well, I just finished the Rise novella anthology that just went to production. I'm
Cool.
finishing the Running Wild anthology. I just finished editing the last of the novellas. It's got a couple more tweaks to go. So once that's done, then that can go to production. And I've got two novels that I just finished editing, and the authors just came back with the tweaks to their manuscripts, so I need to look over that. Um, and then I think I have two more manuscripts I need to edit, and then I need to work on the new Kickstarter.
Cool.
And I have a couple other projects that I need to do. So yeah, there's no lack of stuff going on. Definitely. Um, Rod Gilly says, I'm working on 4 projects and trying to put together a timeline for submit, publish, and marketing. The general feedback on social media that I've received is that there is nothing that really works. Any thoughts or suggestions? What do you think of radio ads? Rod, are you talking about, are you self-publishing this, or these 4 projects, or are you working with a publisher? Because that will actually make a difference, believe it or not. And while
I'd
Rod,
go back and while he's typing, I'd go back and say nothing works, but everything works, and
yeah,
I'd be right. And so it's really where you get your work and the whose eyes you get it in front of, whose hands you get it in, because all those ideas would work. And radio ads, sure.
yeah, I mean, Ben is spot on. I've had this conversation with small publishers. I've had it with big publishers. I've had it with independent authors who've been like huge bestsellers. And right now the market is so incredibly varied. We never know what's going to sell. So something that, I mean, it could be named to the among the best of the year, and it'll sell 2 books, right? Which makes, logically that doesn't make any sense. But you really don't know. And so much of it too is dependent on who's the audience that you're targeting. So did you write a thriller, right? Did you write a horror? Did you write magical realism? Did you write literary? Sorry, my cat is like stuck on my shirt. Um, she has this tendency of getting her nails stuck on my clothes. Anyway, um, did you, it's the genre, it's the type of story, it's where is the setting? Um, Usually going to like book festivals and comic cons and things like that will help you sell books a lot. But again, it's all, and a lot of it is, what relationships do you have with different booksellers? Um, and would they be willing to feature your book in their bookstores? Like, would they be willing to recommend it? And do they have a social media presence? Do they have representation in other spaces? Because then that means if they highlight your book in their store, they're also going to typically highlight your book online as well. So hopefully that made sense. Rod says he's intending to submit to a RWP. Well, thank you. That's very complimentary. And he's self-published one so far. All of his writing falls into horror, thriller, and fantasy. Yeah, it's the same answer. I don't know. Peter, Ben, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think it's really word of mouth and getting yourself out there, working with your network, doing readings as many as you can, getting interviewed by as many people as you can. Just basically get your face and your words out there, because the more attention you can drum up, the more results you're hopefully going to have.
Yep, absolutely.
It may be the one you didn't think about that is the one you needed to have, whether it's the process or method or technique or the person. So don't shut down any avenue.
Yeah, I mean, and to both Ben and Peter's point, like I spoke at AWP. I didn't think anybody was going to show up. It sold out the room, right? I spoke at Pen Writers. I didn't think anyone was going to show up. We literally had people standing. I spoke at a small bookstore that I have an amazing relationship with. No one showed up in person. People showed up online, but no one showed up in person. Well, okay, 2 people showed up in person, but still. So you just don't really have, you don't know. I spoke at we had a table at San Diego's Comic Fest. I didn't think we'd sell anything. We sold out of all of our books, right? And the reason I didn't think we'd sell anything was because we weren't selling comic books. We were selling, standard novels and anthologies. Man, people ate them up. They loved them. So it's really hard to make a judgment call. Margaret Buchanan says, do you get agent queries? Oh yeah, all the time. We absolutely do. We actually, a lot of times we'll have authors, we'll go to their agents and ask for their work to be submitted to us. And they everyone goes through the same process that we use Submittable. And sometimes if an author submits to us directly through Submittable and they have an agent, they just go back and check with their agent on the offer that we provide. So, Rod Gilly says, my little book is me learning. I've been submitting it to booktubers for video reviews. Oh, that's fun. For this book and way more for my novel, is this a good idea for this book? And oh, I see. My little book is me learning. I've been submitting. I hear that Book Talk is huge. So I honestly don't know enough personally about Book Talk, but I hear that Book Talk's a great place to go. So send your books to those influencers. I don't know, Peter and Ben, do you guys have any ideas or insights?
Not exactly, Ben. I'll toss this over to you, sir.
No experience, specifically, but again, it's the general guidance. If it's getting airtime anywhere, it's a good idea. Yeah. We can't stress that enough. That's the key. And Rob, type in and tell us what they're telling you, or if the doors are opening for you. If they are, again, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And what is it called? BookBub, right? We've run specials with BookBub that went phenomenally, just sold like crazy. We've run BookBub specials that sold nothing. Which, back in the day, if you go back, like 10 years, BookBub was like the place to go. Like if you wanted your story to sell, you went to BookBub, and man, they made it happen. So same thing with, getting reviews at certain not publishers, but reviewers, industry reviewers. Man, it used to be if they reviewed you, you were in heaven. Everybody picked it up, and not so anymore. So, it's worth trying. You just got to keep working through it. And Rod, do exactly what you're doing now. Go around, ask people, hey, have you tried this? Did this work for you? What's been your experience? Have you heard anything? And honestly, it's always good to just go back and double check if they give you feedback. Is this recent? Right? Just because the industry has changed so much. So, Caroline says, great to see you, Lisa, Peter, Ben. As always, wonderful to see you too. Rod says again, thank you, Ben. And Lisa, you're a star. Got to ask, how do you adjust to live interviews? I do recorded shows, edit out my chatter. I am to guest on live shows. You just do it. I don't know if I'm any good or uh, better or worse for live shows versus recorded. Admittedly, I have to say I've been on live TV though since I was like 15. So I have a little more. I'd say I probably have an advantage in that capacity.
10 years then.
Yeah, only 10 years. I'll pay you later. But I mean, there are tips that you can get that, and like, definitely whenever you whenever you have something recorded of you, go back and watch it, and then you can kind of see what your ticks are and where you can improve. So like one of my ticks is when I'm thinking, I look up, right? And you kind of learn not to do that when I do it more so when it's like a Zoom, but that's one tick that I'm trying to improve upon. But yeah, so yeah, just do it and then watch it and see what things you do that annoy you, and then work on not doing them anymore.
Don't do that. That's a good strategy. If it's bad, don't do it.
If it's bad, yeah, but you won't know if it's bad until you watch it, and then you go, ew. Ah.
But then you got to watch yourself, and just like, I can't always do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like, I didn't know I said words that way. Woo, that sucked. How did anyone even know what I was saying? So
That's why I write.
right. That's why I write. Yeah, because then I don't have to talk. Actually, then you have to talk. So joke on you. Rod says, I'm hoping to guest or interview on the next book fest. Actually, believe that wasn't actually live. That was pre-recorded. They just didn't edit anything out. They said that there was someone else that they interviewed for book fest, and she cursed so much that they had to go back and do a lot of editing. And what was worse is she's a middle grade author, so, which is really, if you think about it, I mean, look, I curse like a sailor, but if I know I'm representing my middle grade books, I'm probably not, or at least I'm going to try not to use foul language. But yeah, hey Rod, if you want to do something like that, just reach out to Bookfest. And actually everybody, if you want to speak at a conference, or you want to, guest speak somewhere, send them a pitch. Look up who to contact, let them know who you are, what your credentials are, let them know that you're interested in speaking and what are some of the potential topics. You'd be surprised at the number of places that'll come back and say that they would love to have you. So just do it, man. Back to Caroline's philosophy of, just do it. Dang straight, just do it. And if they say no, screw them. Who cares? Go on to the next one, because you just learn and grow with time. That's with anything in reality. But so, Teja says, do you set a limit on how many books you'll be releasing per month? That's a great question. It's actually not per month. We do it per year. So we only publish 10 to 15 books per house per year. We are looking to mature more and have it where, we only have like, two per month or something like that. We're not quite there yet, because we're still, I guess you could say, maturing our overall operational process. So the process around acquisition, editing, and then moving into the distribution portion. So we're getting a lot better. We've gotten a lot better, I think. But yeah, we're getting there. I don't know, Ben, Peter, what do you guys think?
It's a capacity issue. So some are easier to edit than others. So to say, yeah, we'll get this done for this month. It's the operational process isn't there yet,
Mm.
and some of it is because some books are harder to edit than others and take more time, require more time.
Definitely. And we've only got so many editors on staff too, and they've got lives. So just like, what's their capacity to edit for any given month?
Yeah.
So doing the best we can, but 10, 15 books a year is really good.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and that's a great point. I mean, we have two contract employees who are really our production managers, who are Janes of all trade. Like, they basically handle everything behind. I can't say everything behind the scenes, but everything that's more administrative behind the scenes. Like, they really make magic happen. Everybody else is part-time. So I think really when we get to a point where we can afford to have like a full-time cover designer, a full-time interior file formatter, right? Someone full-time managing audiobooks, which, by the way, we're currently working on getting audiobooks pulled together for our 2023 catalog, and then we're going to work backwards on those titles that didn't get audiobooks previously. And when we even are able to be full-time, right, if we so choose, then you're going to see our operational process will be much, much, much faster, I'd say. So just piggybacking on what Ben and Peter both said. And sorry for the cat, but my cat's decided she needs to sit on my lap. But Caroline says, what is everyone working on this coming week? I don't know, Peter, what are you working on, young man?
I am dusting off one of my short stories that I kind of let run away with me. I don't like the ending. I know where I want to take it, but I can't quite get it there, and I'm kind of like managing it in a way. That and the novel that I've been working on that I owe Lisa, and starting in on the books I'm editing. So I'm really excited to get working again. It's been a long time, a little bit of a rest, and excited to be back writing and editing.
Cool. How about you, Ben?
I am working on everyone's favorites, lycanthrope, soon to be trilogy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But sequel right now. And actually, I have been challenged to write a short story about werewolves for a anthology idea. So it's here now. Whether it ends the way I see it ending, I'm like with Peter. But I probably won't stick to the way I see it ending. If the characters take it somewhere else, I'll go with them.
Oh yeah, and thank you for that reminder. We actually have a call out right now in Submittable. We have a short story anthology that is all short stories that are in the world of Cure. So you guys actually know what I'm talking about. I'll read to you the prompt. So I believe I said it that you have until the end of June, maybe the end of July, to submit it, because we want to put it out there around the same time as the follow-up to Cure. Let me see. Okay. And it ends July 30th. So you have until July 30th to submit your short story. And the prompt is, Dive into a world where the Burka Viking warrior is actually an ancestor of an ancient strain of lycanthropic werewolves, and where modern day lycanthropes are split between a group that believes that lycanthropes were intended to dominate humans and another sect which believes that werewolves were meant to live in harmony with humans. Write a short story that lives in this world of Cure and join its fold. And here's the link to it if you guys want to check it out. So Caroline, what we mean by Cure is the name of the novel. And here is a link to the novel in case you haven't checked it out yet. But yeah, so we've actually gotten pretty good response to that. We've gotten a few folks who've come forward and said, "Oh, all right, I'm in." So I'm actually excited because, man, these are going to be some awesome short stories, and I get to rip you guys off because you're probably going to come up with better ideas than I've got, and we can use it for future novels. Not that we'd ever do anything like that. We would definitely give you credit if I did anything like that. So, and so what I'm finishing up. So I'm finishing up, I think, 3 novels, 2 novella anthologies, a Kickstarter pitch, a 2-pager for a book plan, a business plan. Yeah, that's great. And so I'm just knocking all that out. And then a gentleman on this here live stream will be sending to me soon the follow-up to Cure, which we've tentatively called The Calling, but I don't know. I keep challenging Ben, like, can you come up with a better title than The Calling? So
renaming all the chapters.
You're renaming all the chapters? Okay, well, I don't care.
We get a common theme at the end to call the whole thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So that's what I'm working on. Rod says Desiree said she sent an email for a fall show. I think I'm wearing my Rod and Ben Rock T-shirt. My ace in the sleeve. I'm sure she would love that. So yeah, and you're right. So anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Desiree is the founder and coordinator for the Book Fest, which is an online conference. Day 1 is for readers. Day 2 is for writers. And I believe it's twice a year, and she typically sends out a call for individuals to be a part of it. And it's really a great conference. It's completely free, and they actually usually at the very end of it offer like a digital gift bag that's focused on on writers and on readers. So I mean it's a really, really cool, guys. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should. Let me give you, here's a link to the Book Fest. And they're really good people.
There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, seriously. They really do. They have some really good stuff in there. Let's see. Cree says, "Hi, Lisa. Good to see you." Hey, Cree. As always, wonderful to see you too. Caroline asked what I meant by Cure. I answered that. I gave you guys a link so that you can go pick it up if you so choose. And Rod says, Ben, I think you called it a galley. RWP Anthology 7 coming soon.
I know that Rise Anthology 1 just made it through production, so I think that's where Anthology 7 is right now.
Oh, that makes sense.
Its way through production, the short stories.
Yeah.
Which means that probably a galley by the fall, and then publication next summer, give or take.
Yep, that makes sense. And for those of you who are looking to submit to us, just so you know, we are not taking submissions for full-length works right now for Running Wild. We are for RIZE. the reason is that we've already accepted submissions through 2026 for Running Wild. So there comes a point when you just say, okay, we need to slow down, focus on what we already have, get these done, and then keep going. So, but our short story anthology, and for both Running Wild and RIZE, and our novella anthologies for Running Wild and RIZE are both always open. And right now, I'm the one who I edit both novella anthologies, and Ben is going to be moving forward, definitely doing the Running Wild short story anthology. And we're currently talking to Cody about how we want to handle the RIZE short story anthology moving forward. So look out for more updates on that. Caroline asked, Ben, when will we see the galleys for 7? You guys don't usually see the galleys. Come on, Caroline, get with it. Not for short story anthologies, because that would mean that we would be in limbo for like a year waiting for everybody to get back. So you guys usually get a digital ARC advanced review copy. You don't usually see the galleys.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
But Caroline just gave me a chance to give a different answer than I just gave Rod, so because she knows that I've got answers. Man,
you got answers. Yeah.
Probably in the fall, this fall.
So yeah, so usually it's an advanced review copy, and again, it's usually not. So the difference, guys, between a galley and an advanced review copy. So a galley, that's what we get back from the formatters, and that's what we check that out. Usually just especially for the anthologies, at a high level to look at how everything has been set up, and just making sure the formatting's correct. And then a galley or an advanced review copy. An advanced review copy, that is something that we give out like as a preview of all the stories. And there's no expectation that it is like fully finalized versus a galley. So I just wanted to clarify that. So Rod says, I had a blast at the Bookfest Spring and made a bunch of new writer friends. As viewer, guest, and interviewer, I'll be at the Fall Bookfest. Awesome. We look forward to seeing you. I think we're expected to be, we will be there as well. I will be talking to Desiree about that. She was talking to me about a special project that sounded like a whole lot of fun. So if we continue those conversations, I'll let you guys know even more about that. But it was what's the show where the singers come on and they either get a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
The Voice?
Yeah, it's like a book version of The Voice. Let's put it that way, or a story version of The Voice. So, yeah. But don't worry, we won't make you dress up like a unicorn or, at least I don't think we will. That might be even more fun for me. It may not be fun for you. Margaret says, has RIZE reached the submission quota for 2023-2024? Yes. So that's a great question. So the way it works is we have to have the actual final version, the final edited versions into our distributor and our manufacturer a year before, at least a year before the actual production date. So 2023 is done. It's been in the can for a year. 2024, that's what I'm finalizing now. So once I'm done with these, then I'll start working on 2025. Same with Ben. So Rod says all writers can benefit from watching that show. I will see, unless we ask you to dress up like Gary Cooper or something. We'll find out. Let's see. Rod says a story version of The Voice. That sounds cool. I'm in. Again, just wait, man. They have a great way of humiliating people. So I don't know if I'd want to be on it, but we'll see. Actually, I did a similar one like that at a different conference, and I felt like I ended up being the person who kept trying to keep other people from feeling humiliated, while other individuals who were on the panel who were giving feedback were going out of their way not to do so. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. It could be fun. It might be kind of interesting. So, wow, guys, these are great questions. You've just been knocking them out today. Rod says, "You've seen my show. I often make a fool of myself, but I will do all I can to build my brand." That sounds good to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with making a fool out of yourself as long as you're electing to do it, and versus someone trying to make you look like a fool. So I just think those are two very different things. But anyway, holy moly, we're already over halfway through the hour. You guys are just coming up with some great questions. This is fabulous. So anyone who's watching, if you are watching and you have no idea who we are and what the heck we're doing on your screen, that we are the acquisition editors for Running Wild and RIZE presses. And we are here with you on Thursdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we are here to answer any old questions that you may have. It can be around the business of publishing, it could be the business of writing, it could be around creative writing, it could be around why does my cat like to stick her butt in the screen? I don't care. You can ask us whatever you want. So just go ahead and put your question into the chat section or the comment section of whatever forum that you are joining us on. And we will be sure to read your question out loud. And then we will take turns responding to said questions. Now, if you're watching and it is not Thursday between those hours, then it's not a big deal. You can always go ahead and toss your question into the comments section, because what we do is we go back throughout the week and we check, and then we will just be sure to answer your questions the next Thursday. So Rod says, if I can get Ben to pay for it, we could tour the country like rock stars. I'm not touching that. I'm gonna let Ben go after that one.
That's sure pocket money. Sure pocket money.
Yeah, because we're all billionaires. Like, if you guys didn't figure that out already, sure.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like rock stars. It would be rock stars.
We'd even have, what's it called? A trailer? No, not a trailer. What is it when, like, you must have green M&Ms in your dressing room?
Just
What's that called? Not a trailer.
Claws?
A clause. Yeah. We'll even have clauses, man. Really elaborate ones. Just you wait. Rod says, Anthology 7 release bumped from October this year to summer next year. I hope to promote the book. Let me know when to start. Well, when the dates are actually finalized, Rod, you'll know. So I wouldn't worry about this. This is not something to sweat, because think about it. You got over a year. So not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Now, if you thought that your release date was tomorrow, that would be something completely different. But yeah.
And a lot of that is the number of books we're producing and working them through the system. So the anthology that was on an annual October schedule has slid because others have jumped in the way, which is not a bad thing at all.
Nope. Yep. Like we talked about, I think the more books that we are able to sell, the more people we can have full-time staff, the more likely we will be able to stay on track in terms of our standard timelines. And again, to both Ben and Peter's points, a lot of it too just depends. Sometimes some stuff takes a lot more editing than others, and sometimes you just can't predict that. So we've literally had some books that took a couple of years because of, both the amount of time needed for editing, but also the author or the editor or both had personal challenges that, it got in the way. And so, it took more time. Rod says, Ben could wear his wizard hat and I could take my wife's pom-poms. I'm not going anywhere near that comment. I'm just going to allow that to sit there. And Rod says, we'd be headliners, New York to LA. I'm not sure where we would be headlining, but, who knows? Maybe Saturday Night Live would have us. Again, I'm not sure why they would, but it could happen. They might find us incredibly interesting for about 2 seconds. Kind of like when Tesla's founder was on Saturday Night Live. He was so crazy boring. Oh my gosh. He just needs to stay as an online image versus someone live speaking. Oh, it was so bad. So bad. Rod says, I can dance, but I can't sing. Ben, I feel like you're getting picked on a lot by Rod right now. He keeps asking you questions.
You gotta show Rod the red pen.
You do. That might actually just encourage him to keep going, man. So I'm trying to think. Actually, so I did get a question because I'm in the middle of negotiating contracts, and I have had one question come up a few times in the last 2 weeks around upfronts. So that's the amount of money you get upfront when you have a book, you sign on to sell a book, and royalties, and how do we pay for that kind of stuff, or what do we base it on? And one guy came back with a rather large number as a counter request. To be perfectly transparent, I actually base that upfront number on the fact that I'm pretty positive that unless you already have a large following, your book is not going to earn out. I'm just saying that, being completely transparent. And by the way, that's very common. Most books do not earn out. And what earn out means is that all the money that was put into the book to go into production and to be sold is earned back, so that that company just breaks even.
Break even.
And the vast majority of books by new authors do not earn out. Now, the reason publishers, or at least in our case, the reason that we still invest in you is because we're betting this isn't going to be your only book. And we already know that it's a great story, otherwise we wouldn't have picked you up. So, it's a long-term investment from our perspective. But that's also why a lot of publishers will not pick you up. It's because you are a new entity. You don't have a following, even if you write better than J.K. Rowling. So, if a publisher comes back to you and they offer you a really low sum as an upfront, that's the reason why. And if you counter with an amount, then what you need to do is you need to prove to them why you deserve that new amount. And again, this is very common. This is if you don't have a publisher, or not publisher, if you don't have an agent, this is what your agent would be doing on your behalf, is they would be going back to that publisher and justifying why you should get that larger sum. Same thing with royalties. I'm getting a lot of counters to have higher royalty rates, which by the way is really surprising me because our royalty number is really high. Like it's obscenely high. Um, and the reason that the royalties again are typically lower is because a lot of these companies are betting you're probably not going to earn out, which means you're probably not going to even get to a royalty phase. You won't get royalties. But if you do get royalties, they're also still trying to make sure that they can keep their doors open because they're still paying their staff while all this is going on. And again, as I referenced, most books don't earn out, so they're still, paying all that. So Caroline says, "Oh, please, we could all dream up something. Line dancing with authors and editors. Oh, that's for the world tour. I mean, if you want, you're welcome to pull that together. Want to do some line dancing? Just come up with that, soundtrack. It's all good." Uh, Teja says, "What are your top 3 favorite movies?" All right, Peter, what's your top 3?
Top 3. Well, off the top of my head, there's Genius that we talked about last week. There's Shawshank Redemption, and I'm drawing a blank in the third one. So let's go with those 2.
All right. How about you, Ben?
You got to go with Cool Hand Luke, 1967, Paul Newman. Then we got to go English Patient, something newer. And then Midnight in Paris.
Oh wow, those are all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a movie nerd. So literally on Saturday, I'm going to like 3 matinees. Yes, you can do that. Matinee is just basically any movie that's showing before a certain hour, and getting just like knocking out one movie after another. But like I love anything from like The Matrix to Midnight in Paris to English Patient to gosh, I don't know. Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I love the first Shazam. I thought it was a lot of fun. The Jason Momoa version of Aquaman, I thought was hilarious. I was gonna say Smurfs. Once Upon a Time. I just love a great movie, and if it's intended to be there, Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once was brilliant. That if you haven't seen it, there's a reason it won so many Oscars. You definitely need to check it out. Yeah. Yep. Dead Poet Society. Absolutely. Yeah. Too many. Far too many. Rod says, some say I'm goofy, some say a bad writer, but they know my name and they're talking about me. I'm thinking this is good. I heard somewhere bad press is still press. Sure. As long as you're comfortable with it. Caroline says, what did everyone think of Wally Lamb's book, She's Come Undone? I don't know, Ben, what did you think?
Familiar with it.
No, you're not familiar with it?
No.
How about you, Peter?
I'm familiar. I know the author. Actually, I'm a fellow alum with the author, but I've not read that one of his yet.
I loved it ages ago, but again, similar to what Peter just said, I'm very biased. I've met Wally Lamb. I had the opportunity to be mentored by him during my MFA. I just think he's such a wonderful human being and a great writer. So that makes me incredibly biased. Teja says, are you excited for Aquaman 2? Well, I mean, if they ever actually let it out, sure. But since, Warner just keeps putting everything on hold. I'll just leave that there. So Rod says, I'm like a weed popping up everywhere I can. I get good press too. Even my little book has all 5-star reviews. That's awesome, Rod. Congratulations. Yeah. Not everybody can say that. So that's a big deal, man. Very cool. Wow, we only have 10 minutes left, guys. So if you are watching and you haven't had a chance to, you got any questions, go ahead, toss them in the comments section of whatever forum you're watching this on, whether it's on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. We're on all of them, and we are more than happy to answer your questions. So go ahead, toss your questions into the comments section. We will then respond to your questions individually. Well, we'll repeat the question and then respond to your questions individually. And hopefully you've got a good answer. Sometimes we don't really have an answer at all, and that's okay. We'll think on it. Or we'll just act stupid. We're really good at that too. I'm really good at cursing, but I'm working on that. I forget. I was being interviewed somewhere, and the poor interviewer looked shocked when I said the F word. And I was like, oops, I forgot. I wasn't on my own live stream. I guess I need to not do that. So, oops. Anyway, I think, yeah, wow, we only have 8 minutes. I don't know, Ben, Peter, do you guys have any questions or any topics that you want to put out there?
What are what are upcoming releases that are coming out in the next couple of months? Do we know? I mean, I know we know, but I mean,
I'm just looking them up. That's a great question. Let me see. In the meantime, Ben, do you have anything?
I can tap dance while you look it up.
That's what I'm looking for, man. Tap dance.
Yeah, it was the cursing. So I wrote an e-novel that was set in the Army, and on purpose it avoided cussing to a point of exaggeration.
I was gonna say people wouldn't believe you. There's no way.
Yeah, and but it was done on purpose, and people would know that it was done on purpose because the officer said something that started with F. And,
was it satire?
Oh, yeah, I know what he said.
Okay. Did you say, was it satire? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
And which is it's a surprise in itself. So I think there's the use of language to hit at different levels.
Got it.
And sometimes the absence of language, of expected language.
Coming up actually in May, on May 8th, is Shocking Pink by Stuart Canterbury. I don't know, Ben, do you want to talk about that one? That was your baby.
Yeah, I got that one because it was offered to another editor who said she would take it, and then she read it and said, I can't edit this. So Lisa said, Ben, if we have an editor that can't do it, it must be yours. It takes place within the adult film industry, but basically it's about people, and it's about relationships and shared human experiences. It just happens to be within that industry, and it starts at the Adult Video Film Awards, and it ends there too. So it goes back. It's over a year of time, and the relationships that are maintained, and the ones that crumble, and the ones you're not surprised with, and the ones you might be surprised with. And but it gets behind the scenes. It's not just the movies themselves, but the distribution of films around the world, and it's just a good setting. But again, the end of the day, it's about people.
Mm. And then we also have The Confessions of Gabriel Ash coming out on May 23rd.
Was that your? Did you do that one, Peter?
No.
No.
No, so that one is a literary Cold War thriller with echoes of John le Carre and A Gentleman in Moscow. Alternates between the glittery backdrop of 80s New York and the sinister grottos of Eastern Europe. The story UN Ambassador Gabriel Ash has to tell in a voice that's sardonic, self-delusional, and uniquely his own will result either in his release from captivity or the loss of his life. And those are the two coming up in May. And then from there, the next one that comes out isn't until July. And that one is A Purpose to Our Savagery by Tomas Bayaza. And that one comes out July 21st. A mother struggles with what it means to be Chicana as she searches for her son at a powwow. A delivery driver has a fateful encounter with a voracious customer at the end of the world. A grieving father learns the true identity of the hummingbird that hovers outside his kitchen window. A Mexican cowboy, who might or might not be the Messiah, orders a pepperoni pizza on a Friday night. A troubled young man develops an unexpected bond with his neighbor's racist yard ornament. And in this debut collection, Bayaza explores the poetic and mythic spaces between light and dark, where Aztec gods and more contemporary obsessions fight for dominance. And that actually has already gotten amazing reviews. Actually, all three have already gotten amazing reviews. So definitely check that out. And Peter, thank you for reminding me to bring that up. So, and with that, let's see. Margaret asks, "Where's Cody?" Cody is a member of another organization, and he had to do some work with them. He had a pre-existing meeting that he had to attend. So, let's see.
So, did delivery come out yet?
Delivery. Sorry, my laptop is currently rebooting the thing.
I didn't know Thomas Baeza has 2 novels coming out then from us this year. Is that true?
Yeah, he's got one under Rise and one under Running Wild.
Very cool.
Sorry, it's still rebooting. Yay.
I like what your point was. I says authors that publish with us multiple times. I've edited the same author a couple times. I'm about to embark on another editing of his latest novella. So it's just neat to see the growing relationship and their writing and the quality of the writing expanding and increasingly getting better and better with each story, each novel they submit to us. Novel, short story, novella. So that's a really neat process.
That's true. We've actually had several authors who've come back to us, and we've already published them at least twice, if not 3 times. To your point, so Tomas's novel Delivery came out on March 21st. And for those of you who aren't familiar, actually Kirkus called it brilliant. Like, that's all I need to say. Again, Delivery, Tomas Baeza. I'm so I'm horrifying his last name, Baiza. But yeah, again, just bluntly stated, Kirkus Reviews called it brilliant. Felipe Diedrich, author of Diamond Park, said, "Sometimes funny and other times heartbreaking. Bayaza's delivery packs a deep emotional punch as Danny Corriente tries to make sense of his mixed heritage, his past, and his uncertain future." So that's another one you definitely want to pick up.
I thought it was really cool. That's what I edited, and I thought it was a great novel in terms of the nuances of the character and all the different situations that he puts himself in, and he finds himself in, and how he wades his way out of it and fights his way out of it. I just think went all over the place, and I had fun working with him on it. That was really well done, well written.
Yeah, and he's absolutely awesome. I really adore him. So Tomas is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we are actually at the end of the hour or top of the hour, depending on how you look at it. So I want to thank everybody who joined us: Rod, Margaret, Holly, Teja, Caroline, everyone. Even if you just sat back and listened to us babble, all good. It was awesome to have you here. And as always, I want to thank Peter and Ben. You guys are phenomenal, and we look forward to seeing you guys this time next week. So till then, have a great one.
Have a good weeks.